ओम गणानां त्वा गणपतिं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पतान् शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनं श्रीमहागणाधिपतये नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुस्साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Dear friends, we have completed the 5th mantra in the last class and we have to take up the 6th mantra. 6th mantra, let us read. न साम्परायः प्रतिभाति बालं प्रमाद्यन्तं वित्तमोहेन मूढम् अयं लोको नास्ति पर इति मानि पुनः पुनर्वशमापद्यते मे। So here Lord Yama is saying, in the earlier mantra also he was telling about the people who are not interested, in this, in Brahma Vidya. So the present mantra also is continuing the same. Those who are not interested in Brahma Vidya, so what exactly is their fate? What happens to them? What befalls them? So na samparayah pratibhati balam pramadyantam vittamohena moodham. So he is talking about a person who is actually deluded by all the attractions in the world. Vittamohena moodham. Vittam usually means money, but vittam, it is also from vidha dhatu, that which is known, that which is seen, all the drishya vastu, what all is seen in the world. So all this drishya vastu, that is all vittam. This is actually a meaning given by one great teacher called Akhandananda Saraswati. So in his book he says vittam actually means say all the drishya vastu. So the person who is attracted by all this drishya vastu, so he is again vitta mohena moodhaha. So that is one who is deluded by all these attractions which are there, and then that is because of this attraction or because of this moha, he is pramadyan. Pramadyan is one who is repeatedly committing mistakes, one who is committing lapses, one who is committing blunders. He is forgetting his duty, he is forgetting the highest goal. So he is not having a proper vision. So that man is a pramadyan. Pramadyantam is dvitiya vibhakti, that is in objective case. Pramadyantam moodham balam. Bala does not mean a boy only. Bala means somebody who is immature, an immature person who is attracted by all the lures of the world, and then because of that attraction and because of delusion or moha, he is committing so many mistakes. So such a man, in case of such a man, na samparayah pratibhati. Samparayah na pratibhati. This samparaya does not dawn on him. Pratibhati. Bhanam is knowledge. Pratibhati is, it is dawning on somebody. It is something which strikes to me, a great idea strikes to me, suppose. So that is an idea pratibhati in my mind, something which comes to my mind, which is realized by me. So that is what is called pratibhanam. Na samparaya pratibhati. This samparaya is something which does not dawn on him. What is this samparaya? Samparaya means paraloka. Samparaya means something to do with that paraloka. That is a strategy for attaining that paraloka. This meaning of samparaya Shankaracharya is going to explain in his bhashyam. So we will go along with Shankaracharya while in order to understand that line. Samparaya means, it is, right now I will only say samparaya means the other world. Samparaya is a tadhita pratyaya. Samparaya is something like Dasharathi. Dasharatha, you know. Dasharathasya apatyam Dasharathihi. Dasharatha's son is Dasharathi. Pavanasya apatyam Pavanihi. Pavana is the wind god. His son is Hanuman. So something like that. Pavanasya apatyam Pavanihi. So similarly, Samparaya is other world. Samparaya is strategy for the other world. So it is a tadhita pratyaya. We have to understand. So this Samparaya, this strategy for the other world, what I have to do in order to attain that other world? Is it there or not? So that is something which never occurs to somebody who is immersed in all these day-to-day activities, in all these pleasures of this world. So that is the meaning of this first line. Then, ayam lokaha nasti para iti mani. Ayam lokaha, this is the only world which is there. This is the only world. Ayam lokaha, this world is the only world. Nasti paraha lokaha. There is nothing else, nothing beyond this. Iti mani, one who feels like that, one who holds that opinion. Then, punah punar vasham apadyate me. Punah punaha me vasham apadyate. Punah punaha, again and again, he comes into my fold, he comes into my control, he comes under my jurisdiction. So unfortunately he doesn't want, but unfortunately most of the people, they go to his control. Though Lord Yama does not want all the people to be so foolish, though he wants people to have some proper knowledge and lead attain liberation. It is so structured that 99% of the people, they are in that direction only. And then punaha vasham apadyate me. So that is the general meaning of this shloka. Then let us read this bhashyam. Na samparayah pratibhati. So this samparaya is something. Samparaya is, as I said, it is a strategy for attaining this other world. It does not come to his mind at all. Na pratibhati, it doesn't dawn on him at all. What is samparaya? Sampare iyate. Is it there in your book or not? Yeah. It is there. Okay. Sampare iyate gamyat iti. Sampare iyate iti. Samparayah. Paralokaha. Tat prapti prayojanaha. Sadhana visheshaha. Shastriyah samparayah. So he is explaining sampare iyate. Sam is, what is sam? Sam is an upasarga which means samyak, well, in a proper way. Samyak iyate, gamyate, pare iyate. Pare means after the fall of this life. Pare means after. Purva, para, these words you know. Purva means before, para means after. Pare means after. After what? After the fall of the body. Here for this word pare, one commentator has written, this Gopala Yatindra in our book, Parapara Brahma Prapti Kale Prarabdha Vigamananantaram. So he is referring to this after the fall of the body, where the jiva or the linga sharira goes to either Parabrahma or or to Swarga or to hell or whatever course it is, depending on the type of work he has done during his life. So that is, pare means at the time of fall of his life. That is Deha Prapti Kale. Deha Prapti Kale, then Prarabdha Vigamananantaram. This Prarabdha karma is over, and then Deha Patana. Deha, not Deha Prapti, Deha Patana Ka, Deha Pata Kale. Deha Pata means that fall of the body, at the time of fall of the body, that is Pare. Samyak Pare Iyate. Iyate means that which is attained. Gamyate. Iyate means Gamyate. That is that which is attained is Samparaya. Here we have to see what exactly is meant by this Paraloka. Paraloka, what do we mean by Paraloka? When we say that somebody has died, we normally say he has become a Swargastha. Swargastha is one who has gone to Swarga. Is Swarga the only Paraloka that we talk about in Vedanta? Swarga is one. Suppose you do some good thing and you go to Swarga, and you do some evil deeds, you go to Narakam. So that is also another Paraloka. Then there is another level which is called, what is called the Upasakas, they go. That is called Brahmaloka. Brahma means Saguna Brahma. You worship, suppose, Lord Venkateshwara. And this Lord Venkateshwara, in your mind, he has got a Loka. Or Krishna, he has got, in your mind, he has got some Goloka. You worship some other Vishnu. In your mind, there is a picture called Vaikuntha. You worship some Shiva and you go to that Kailasa. So these are the lokas which can be broadly categorized as Brahmaloka. So this is called Brahmaloka. So what is the difference between Swarga and this Brahmaloka? So this is what we see in the 8th chapter of Gita. This 8th chapter of Gita, it talks about Para and Apara Brahma. This 8th chapter of Gita, the name is Akshara Brahma Yoga. Akshara Brahma Yoga. It talks about what is this Swarga, What is this Paraloka? That is Parabrahma and Aparabrahma. Parabrahma means, Param means supreme, we have to always remember. Apara is something but is one step down. Supreme Brahman is Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma, that Shuddha Nirguna Brahma, which is of this nature of existence and consciousness and also infinitude. And in that there is a manifestation called Maya. And in that manifestation, this Maya Vachina Chaitanya is what is called Ishvara. That itself is called Creator or Creator Brahma as we call it. That Brahmaloka. So what all good deeds you do and what all the upasanas we do, the highest attainment of all the upasanas is that Brahmaloka. So in this upasana, a man, he is not in the karma marga alone. Of course, there is a karma. There is a karma means this what this yajna, yaga and all these are called karmas. So a person who does these karmas, he will the place where he goes is heaven. In addition to this, he also does some upasana and also attains some chitta shuddhi. Chitta shuddhi is most important, that antahkarana shuddhi, that purity of mind. He attains that purity of mind by undergoing this yama, niyama and all this process of self-discipline, that ashtanga yoga, that eightfold yoga which is described by Patanjali. And then after that, he also does upasana of a particular Saguna Brahma. Saguna Brahma means a Brahman with attributes. A Brahma or a creator or something visualized in that framework of Maya. You visualize that and then you worship it as the Supreme. So that Saguna Brahma worshippers, they attain that particular stage. So that is called Brahmaloka. And what happens to those people who go to that Brahmaloka? So that Brahma also has some limited tenure, isn't it? All things, even that particular Maya Vachina Chaitanya, that man also has a limited tenure. That is, there is what is called a kalpa. Brahma also, that he changes and another kalpa comes. So it is like that, a different type of wave. Another type of wave comes and then this Brahma goes and then this whole world is dissolved and this whole universe or cosmos is dissolved and another type of universe comes. That is another kalpa and another srushti. So this, at the end of this, these people, they attain moksha in that Brahmaloka. They attain knowledge and then attain Brahma. So that is the general structure which is explained in Vedanta. General structure is, if you just do some punya deeds, if you are just doing some yajna, yaga and then with an interest of going to heaven, okay, you reach what is called a heavenly stage, a pleasant state. Swarga, su plus varga, swarga. Then if you are also doing an upasana, having attained some chitta shuddhi, then you attain what is called Brahmaloka, isn't it? So this Brahmaloka, from Swarga there is a return. This difference between Swarga and Brahmaloka is, Swarga, from Swarga or heaven, there is a return. How? After you exhaust your karma, there is what is called a baggage of punya and papa. After your punyam is exhausted, you are returned to this earth. You will again be born because you have not attained jnana. Till you attain jnana, there is no liberation from this cycle of samsara, this cycle of transmigration. So that is the basic point in Vedanta. Till you attain Brahma jnana, till you attain that you are nothing other than the Supreme Brahman, till that stage comes, you will be just loitering round and round. You may do good deeds, you will go to Swarga, you will go to heaven, you will enjoy some facilities there, and then after your visa is over, you come back. So that is what is Swarga. Brahmaloka is something different. Brahmaloka, because after Chitta Shuddhi, this man has done some upasana. This man has done mananam on that God form. That is the thing. Upasana means what is it? A mananam on a particular God form, a Saguna Brahma form. Visualizing that supreme thing in a Saguna form. So he attains that particular stage. From there is no return. But at the same time, from in that stage only, he attains Jnanam and then he gets liberation. So that is what is called Apara Brahma. Parabrahma is Supreme Brahman. So there is a Swarga on one hand, there is Apara Brahma and then Parabrahma. So these are the stages which we will see in say, what is this? 8th chapter of Gita, that is Akshara Brahma Yoga. So that is what we have to understand. So this Pare Kale means here some Pare. Pare means Pare Kale, that is Dehapatana Durdhvam. Dehapatana Durdhvam, that is after the fall of this body. Then what is this afterlife? So there is something called afterlife. There is something called heaven. There is something called Brahmaloka. There is something called say Supreme Brahma. These things, all these things, they do not dawn on this person who is say totally attracted or so totally submerged or immersed in all these worldly pleasures. So that is the meaning. संपरायः परलोकः तत् प्राप्ति प्रयोजनः साधन विशेषः शास्त्रीयः संपरायः. This word शास्त्रीय also we have to see. Shastriya means that which is mentioned in the scriptures, a path which has been prescribed by the scriptures. That is what is Shastriya. Then sacha balam avivekinam prati न प्रतिभाति न प्रकाशते न उपतिष्ठते इत्येतत्. Okay, this type of sadhana, what sadhana I have to do? For example, a person who is so deeply immersed in these things, it does not dawn on him as to what sadhana, as to what method, as to what path he has to adopt in order to get out of that thing, and then in order to come to a better stage, that is how to get on to this upasana stage. He doesn't bother about it. Even if he worships God, he worships only with a kamya, with a desire only, and he doesn't worship just as a sort of upasana, just meditating on the nature of Brahman. He is not doing in that. There is nothing, there is no prajna, there is no chintana, there is no viveka involved in that. After all, jnanam depends on viveka, discrimination. So this man, in this man's case, there is no viveka or prajna, there is only some selfish desire. He may go to Venkateshwara, but he will only ask for this, that, etc. But he will not do any viveka about the nature of that Saguna Brahma also. So that is why all those things, they do not dawn on this man. Such a balam avivekinam prati na pratibhati. Na pratibhati means na prakashate. He says na prakashate. They don't shine on him. That is prakasha, you know. Prakasha means shine. They don't shine on him, they don't dawn on him, they don't come to his mind at all. Na upatisthate. This sadhanam never comes before him. Na upatisthati. Upatisthati means coming before somebody. Upasthita hona. That is the coming before you. That is appearing. That sort of thing never occurs to you. That is the meaning. Pramadyantam. Pramadam kurvantam. Putra pashvadi prayojaneshu. Asakta manasam. तथा वित्तमोहेन वित्तनिमित्तेन विवेकेन मूढ़ं तमसाच्छन्नं संतं. So okay, pramadyantam vittamohena moodam, he is explaining. Pramadyantam, pramada we know. Pramada means not accident, road accident or anything. Pramada means something, a lapse from one's duty is a pramada. A lapse, a blunder. Pramadyantam, pramadam kurvantam. This is again in Dvitiya Vibhakti. One who is committing that blunders. Then how is he committing blunders? He is bothered more about putra pashvadi prayojaneshu. He is bothered about acquisition of so many things. He is bothered about his own acquisition of money for the sake of his putras, acquisition of all pashu wealth and all types of wealth. Pashu means we have to replace pashu with some cars, houses and all these things nowadays. So with all these things, prayojaneshu asakta manasam. His mind is he is having asakti. Asakti means attachment. Only there in all these things. Tatha vitta mohena. Vitta, as I said, vitta means any type of drushya, any type of goods, let us say any type of material goods, any type of thing we see. Not only material good, even putra, pashu, relatives, friends, all these things. That is vitta mohena, vitta nimittena, avivekena, modham. Aviveka, the discrimination is not there. Then modhaha, tamasa channam santam. Tamas is what? Tamas is darkness. Tamasa channam. Channam means that is totally covered, shrouded, say totally wrapped, totally enwrapped by this darkness. So he is so totally covered, enwrapped by darkness. Channam santam. So that particular man, ayameva lokaha, yoyam drishyamanaha, striyannapanadi vishishtaha. Correct. Nasti paraha, adrushtaha lokaha, ityevam mananashilaha mani, punah punaha, janitva, vasham madadhinam, apadyate me mrityoho mama. So this person, this particular man, what does he feel? What is his contention? His contention is that ayameva lokaha yoyam drushyamanah striyanna panadi vishishtah. Stri, anna, pana, adi. Stri. So he has described all the three W's, as they say. So all the three W's, woman, wine and wealth. That is what Stri, Anna, Pana. Stri is woman, Anna is food, Pana is drinks. So all these things. So he has mentioned. So Striyanna Panadi Visishtaha Adi. Stri, Anna, Pana, Adi. So all types of things which are available in all the casinos in the world. So all these things, Stri, Anna, Panadi Visishtaha, Ayam Lokaha, and beyond this there is nothing. Drushyamanaha ayam lokaha eva. Drushyamanaha, that which is seen. So ayam eva lokaha means this is the only loka, this is the only world, this is the only stage, which is that means what all is seen here, what all is seen, all the diversity which is seen here, all the visible goods, all the pleasures which are seen here. Except these things, there is nothing else. Nasti paraha adrushtaha lokaha. Adrushtaha means that which is not seen. This is drushta loka, the other one is adrushta loka. Adrushta means something which is not seen. Such a thing is not there at all. Ityevam mananasilaha mani. So a man who is having that sort of contention, punaha janitva. So this man doesn't escape from the cycle of samsara. So he is born again and again. Then vasham apadyate me, madadhinam apadyate me. Again and again born means he is also dying again and again. Dying means mrityu. And in Vedanta, what is mrityu? Ajnanam vai mrityuhu. One Upanishad line is there. Ajnanam vai mrityuhu. Ignorance is mrityu. It is not actually physical death that is called mrityu. Vedanta describes. It is not the physical death which we should call mrityu. It is ajnanam which is mrityu. Because once a person realizes that he is not this body-mind complex, then that ajnanam is gone. Once that ajnanam is gone, that mrityu is gone. So this ajnanam is equated to mrityu. Ajnanam vai mrityuhu. So that is why we in Shiva Rudra mantra also, what is that? Urvarukam iva bandhanan mrityor mukshiyama amrutat. We say Urvarukam iva bandhanan mrityoho. Then Urvarukam, what is Urvarukam? Urvarukam is that god, what is that god? We say ash god. Urvarukam. Telugu we call it Sorakaya. Urvarukam. What is Urvarukam? Urvarukam is a Sorakaya or some ash god, let us say. Bandhanat. So it is there to the fruit may be too big, but then it is to a creeper. It is grown to a creeper, isn't it? A creeper will be there. That creeper size will be only this, and then this Gumadikaya or this Urvarukam will be this big, isn't it? So when does it fall off? Only when this attachment becomes mature, only when it becomes ripe. Only when it becomes ripe, it just falls off. This Urvarukam falls off from the bandhana. Urvaruka falls off from the bandhana. Till that time, that bandhana is very strong. So this maturity of this Urvarukam is compared to the maturity of a sadhaka. This sadhaka who contemplates, sadhaka who is in this process of jnana, over a period of time, once he attains some chitta shuddhi and some maturity, then he falls off from that bandhana. Urvarukamiva bandhanan mrityoho means from mrityoho bandhanat, from the clutches of, from the bondage of mrityu. Not clutches, let us say bondage. From the bondage of mrityu, you deliver me. Mrityoho mukshiya ma amrutat. So that is what it says. So it is something like a pumpkin, something like an ash god which falls off from the creeper. So that is in a similar manner, let me fall off. Let me fall off means let me attain moksha by maturity. So urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityoho. That mrityos bandhanam is that attachment to that creeper. So like that.
Can we explain the whole mantra?
Triyambakam yajamahe sugandhim pushtivardhanam. Sugandhi I have actually forgotten. Sugandhi, there is some explanation for that. Let me not venture anything. Say Sugandhim pushtivardhanam. There is a big explanation for that which I have forgotten. This line I remember. Urvarukamiva bandhanat mrityoho mukshiya ma amrutat. Mukshiya means you deliver me. Mukshiya ma amrutat. So like that. Ma means mom, so you deliver me. Okay. Then what is this punah janitva? Yeah, the point here is mrityu means ajnanam vai mrityuh. And this, if you want explanation, you Rudradhyaya, you know Rudram. Rudradhyaya commentary is there by say by Vidyaranya also. There is one commentary. There is another commentary by another say ancient writer. I have forgotten the name. There are 2 or 3 commentaries on this Rudradhyaya. Must be many more. I have seen 2 or 3. So there you find this meaning. So the idea is Ajnanam is equated to Mrityu. Ignorance is death. So that is it. Janana Marana, then Madadhinata Apadyate me Mrityoha Mama. Janana Maranadi Lakshana
Janana Maranadi Lakshana
Dukkha Prabandharudha Eva
Dukkha
Prabandha Arudha Eva Bhavati Ityarthaha.
Bhavati Ityarthaha.
So this Dukkha Prabandha is again a good word. Prabandha means that is some sort of organizational structure, that is called Prabandha. This Dukkha Prabandha Arudha Eva. He is there in that structure of the whole structure of Dukkha. It is just stuck to that. Dukkha Prabandha Arudha. Arudha means one who is sitting on that, one who is just sticking on to that. Was sticking on to what? Sticking on to the framework of Dukkha. That whole structure or whole framework of Dukkha, he is just sitting on that. What are the characteristics of this? Janana, Marana, Adi, Lakshana. So the characteristics of this thing is Janana, Marana. Janana, Marana means in between there are so many processes of growing, decaying and all these things. These are all the characteristics of this Prabandha, this structure. So he cannot get out of this structure. He is stuck to that structure. So that is what he says. Dukkha Prabandha Arudha eva bhavati ityarthaha. Prayena evam vidha eva lokaha. So Prayena, mostly, Prayena means mostly, Lokaha, most of the people, evam vidha eva. So most of the people are like this. Most of the people in the world are like this. So that is a general observation by Shankaracharya. Next, yastu shreyorthi sahasreshu kaschideva atmavid bhavati tvadvidhaha yasmat. Okay. He says, yastu shreyorthi. Yastu. Tu is on the other hand, yaha shreyaha arthi, shreyorthi, one who is desirous of that shreyo marga, then he is there only 1 in thousands. 1 in thousands. Sahasreshu kaschideva atmavid bhavati. 1 in thousands. It is not very easy to find out. Tvadvidhaha. Tvadvidhaha means somebody who is like you. So that is what he says. So somebody who is like you, it is very, very difficult to say come across. Then the next mantra let us read. Shravanaya api bahubhiryo nalabhyaha Shrunvantopi bahavoyam navidyuhu Ascharyo vakta Kushalosya labdha Ascharyo jnata Kushalanusishtaha Kushalanusishtaha Shishtaha. Okay, here this mantra and next mantra are these 2 mantras where we have to do some little bit of soul searching. Soul searching means these 2 mantras, they talk about who is a good teacher, who is a good student. So the more is told about the teacher. This next mantra is only about the teacher. This mantra talks about both the teacher and the taught. So the teacher is something like a transmitter, the student is something like a receiver. The transmitter also should be good, the receiver also should be good, only then the transmission takes place properly. And the receiver also should be in a state of maturity. He should be capable of receiving that thing. So that is what is the meaning in simple. So Shravanayapi bahubhihi yo nalabhyaha. So the subject here is this Atma. Atma is the subject here. Shravanayapi bahubhihi yaha nalabhyaha. Even if you want to listen, there are not many people who are capable of telling it. There are not many people who are capable of telling about this thing. Telling means Somebody can read out shloka, read out bhashyam and explain. So in fact, luckily, I have in the very beginning, I told you that I very clearly said I am not a Jnani or I am not a Swamiji, but I will teach you like a Sanskrit teacher. I will teach you the text. My objective is to teach the text and make you understand the text so that you will continue to read the text. You will go to some Swamiji like some Akhandananda or some such Swamiji and then you will listen, because Vedanta is something which has to be heard repeatedly. In fact, in my case also, I have not merely heard from one, I have at least heard, I am hearing at least three or four people. I heard 3 or 4 people and then I continue to hear, for example, Akhandananda I was just mentioning. He is one gentleman, one Swamiji whom I consider among the topmost, in the sense that he actually makes you feel, he actually makes you realize what exactly every word means. So that is very important. In fact, luckily Akhandananda's lectures are there online. Maharshi online, if you type Maharshi online, so that Akhandananda, even Akhandananda Maharaj you can type. Akhandananda Maharaj, if you type, you will get his website, and luckily his lectures are there. Only problem is you have to know Hindi, and sometimes I don't understand that good Hindi, that that particular local idiomatic Hindi I don't understand, but by and large you understand. So Sravanayapi Bahubhihi yo nalabhya, he is talking about this Atma. Lord Yama is talking about this Atma, which is not easily, I mean, even if you want to listen, Shravanaya api, even for listening, in the midst of so much of duality which you are seeing in this world, you don't even come across somebody who will teach you this thing. Bahubhihi yaha na labhyaha. Because even if you want to listen, it is not labhyaha. Shrunvantaha api bahavaha yam na vidyuhu. Bahavaha means many people. Shrunvantaha api, though they are listening, yam na vidyuhu, they will not be able to understand, because the subject matter is like that. The subject matter is like that because this gentleman, the teacher, is supposed to say, what is Atma? Atma is something which is beyond words. Atma, the Upanishad itself says, yatra vacho nivartante aprapyamanasa saha. Taittiriya Upanishad says, the walk, yatra vachaha nivartante. The words, they rebound, they come back. Yato vacho nivartante means from what? Words, they are just not adequate to explain that Brahman. You will only say, okay, Satyam, you will explain, Jnanam, you will explain, Anantam, you will explain. And then to see that you yourself feel it and to ensure that the other man feels it, this is something which is difficult. So that is where vachaha nivartante, the words, they fail. The words fail to totally explain. Then there is a description like ashabdam, asparsham, arupam, ananu. Ashabdam, it is beyond shabda. You will not be able to explain. Asparsham, it cannot be felt. Arupam, you cannot see it. Ananu, it is something which is so huge. So this is something which is which you have to do mananam again and again and again and see that you feel it. So that is a process which has to go on both in the guru and also in the student. So this is why Shrunvanto api bahavaha yam na vidyuhu. Shrunvantaha api, though they are listening, they will not be able to understand, because something which is the teacher has to say that you are Tattvamasi, this teacher should be able to say. Then the teacher also, the teacher initially he should have that realization, Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman. Then he should be able to say you are that Brahman. Then the student also should realize that he is the Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, he should also feel. So this is the whole process. So this whole process is so difficult. So that is why Ascharyo Vakta Kushalaha Asya Labdha. Ascharyaha Vakta. Vakta means the person who is delivering the message, the person who is talking, the person who is expounding it, he is an Ascharya, he is a wonder. He is a wonder of wonders. We talk about wonders of the world. So many 7 wonders or 9 wonders, whatever it is. So a person who will be able to explain is again a wonder. And a person Kushalosya labdha. The person who attains it, he is also a wonder, and he is such a kushala. Kushala means he is again a very smart man. Kushala is again a very smart, very intelligent, very, say, what can we say? He is again a rarity. He is again a rarity. So that is, he is the person. Then Ascharyo Jnata. Okay, this man also is an Ascharya. Jnata. Jnata is person who knows. Jnata is the person who knows. He is also an Ascharya. A person who tells is an Ascharya, that is a wonder, and it is also a wonder. It is also a rarity, such a rare commodity. Ascharyo Jnata. Kushalanusishtaha. Kushalena adhyapakena anusishtaha. That one who is taught, one who is taught by an expert teacher. A student also should be kushala, acharya should also be kushala. Then ascharya vakta, ascharya api jnata. So this is the general meaning. Ascharya, for the word ascharya, Akhandananda gives a meaning. There is an explanation which he says, aha iti charyate asmin iti ascharyam. Aha iti charyate asmin iti ascharyam. Suppose you look at something and you are totally stunned by it. Aha, you say. Suppose you see something, a very moving scene in a movie, or a very moving scene in a kavyam, a very moving scene somewhere, or something which makes you extremely happy. You say aha. And then this understanding makes you extremely happy. So it is something which says aha. So this ascharya, the etymological meaning of ascharya explained by the Akhandananda is aha iti charyate asmin. So you say, just look at it as aha. So the way he explains, that way the teacher explains, and probably the only teacher who explained it this manner I found is Akhandananda, nobody else. So aha iti, you will get that feeling. So if you understand that Hindi and if you can reach that Hindi, you will go to that level. So ascharyo vakta kushalaha asya labdha, ascharyo jnata kushala anusishtaha. So this is something, there is another saying, swayam tirnaha parantarayati. One who has crossed, he will be able to make others cross. So one who is a jnani, he will be able to make others jnanis. He will be able to convey something about it. So these are all various, statements. There are so many statements in Upanishads we can come across. For example, he should be a Shrotriya Brahmanishta, a teacher. That Mundakopanishad which says, Samitpanihi Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. You have to take Samit, and then you have to go to a Shrotriya Brahmanishta. That is again a qualification. That is again a description of a guru. Shrotriya Brahmanishta. Brahmanishta means one who is in that Brahman awareness. Nishta is that status. Nishchayena avasthanam, he should be in that position. Where? In Brahman. So he is in that Brahman awareness. And he should also be a Shrotriya. Shrotriya means one who is disciplined through the process of Shruti. That is one. There are two things which sometimes teachers say. There is what is called a Shrotriya Brahmanishta. There is another man called a Vratya Brahmanishta. Vratya Brahmanishta is somebody who is sitting in some Himalayas, some sadhus, moving about naked, and then smoking bhang and things like that. So he is a man who is not bothered about all these things, who is not bothered about Shruti, who is not bothered about all these things, and then but he is a man who is a realized man. So but Shruti says, you please do not go to that man. He may be a Brahmanishta. He is not dangerous. You don't go to that man. You can go to a teacher who is a Shrotriya Brahmanishta, who has come out of this channel. There are two channels. One is a channel of this Shrotriya, and then one who has done this Vedadhyayana, and then who has gone through this proper process of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, Ashtanga Yoga and whatnot. So a person who is incapable of, who is, I should not say incapable of doing wrong, one who has gone beyond good and evil, one who will never do anything wrong. So such a man. So you have to go to that Shrotriya Brahmanishta who has come up through this channel of Shruti. He is a Shrotriya. The other man is Vratya Brahmanishta who has not followed any of these things, any of these principles. So they just sitting somewhere and then smoking bhang and then sitting on some dead body or something like that. He may be a jnani, but you please don't select him. That is what Shruti says. Because you may or may not get jnanam, you may ultimately end up smoking bhang. This is what one of my teachers used to say. One teacher, one Mudigonda Venkatrama Shastri, in one of his talks, he said, if you go to a say Vratya Brahmanishta, you may not get Brahmajnana, but you may end up smoking bhang. So we have to choose a Shrotriya Brahmanishta, the person who is himself a disciplined man. The discipline is important, the spiritual discipline is important, and then commitment for society is also important. He should not be doing some erratic things in society, he should not be doing all irregular, illegal things in society. So this is the thing. Then let us read the Bhashyam. Shravanayapi Shravanartham Shrotum api Yo na labhyaha atma Bahubhihi anekaihi. So Bahubhihi yo na labhyaha. Bahubhihi means anekaihi, by most of the people. Shravanayaha Shravanartham Shrotum api. Even for listening. If you want to listen also, it is not labhyaha, atma. What? Atma. Atma is something, simply by listening you will not get Atma. This Atma is something which you have to feel over a period of time. So it is not a question of an intellectual say accumulation of information. It is a question of realization. That realization happens in a very, very slow manner. Once this small ego has to die down. When we say Aham Brahmasmi, it does not mean I am such a great fellow, I am such so big and then I am not, it is not bloated ego. When I say Aham Brahmasmi, it is not a question of bloated ego. Aham Brahmasmi actually means removal of your whatever existing ego you have. Aham Brahmasmi means I am not this. I am negating my identity here. I am negating my say identity as so and so, so and so. I belong to this particular class. I belong to this. I have so much of capacity. I have this stature. I have this say ranking in society. All these things, they go away. So only when you reject all this, then you become Brahma. So when I say Aham Brahmasmi, it is not an arrogant statement. It is not a statement of bloated ego. It is a statement where your individual ego has annihilated. It has withered away. It has disappeared, and it has merged with the ultimate, the bigger, say Brahman. So this small awareness, this small thing, this what is this parichinna? The delimited thing has gone, it has merged in the bigger thing. So that is what is Aham Brahmasmi. So these are the things which just cannot happen by listening to Vakya. Because some people, they just come to us now and then they just say, yeah, just tell me in short what is Vedanta. Simply not possible. Okay, you have to somehow get out of them. You have to somehow get out of such people, because you just cannot explain in 10 minutes. Because what people have toiled for ages and ages, people who have done some tapas, they have to undergo some self-discipline, long self-discipline you have to undergo. Unless you undergo self-discipline, the mind will not be able to receive this statement. Suddenly one evening over a glass of drink, if you want some Vedanta to be explained, it is just not possible. So that is it. Shravanayapi bahubhihi yo nalabhya bahubhihi anekaihi. Shrunvantopi bahavaha aneke anye yam atmanam na vidyuhu na vidanti abhaginaha asamskrutatmanaha na vijaniyuhu. So these people who are asamskrutatmanaha. So this word used here is samskrutatma. What is this samskrutatma? Not somebody who is speaking Sanskrit, because some people feel that for Brahmajnana you should have knowledge of Sanskrit. Knowledge of Sanskrit will be definitely helpful, but it is not it is not something which is a sine qua non, without which you will not get. It is not a sine qua non for Brahmajnana. Anyway, Samskrutatma here means Shuddha Antahkarana. That is a purified mind. That purified mind, it takes place over a period of time. In fact, for example, I have told in Gita Bhashya also, we are required to have two things. That is Chitta Shuddhi, Nishchalatvam, Nirmalatvam, and also Nishchalatvam. Nirmalatvam alone is not enough. Nishchalatvam also is required. For example, if you want, they gave the example of say reflection of sun in a lake is given. The lake water should be pure, that is nirmalatvam. Water also should be pure, and it should not be it should not be shaking. There should not be waves. It has to be still. The water has to be still. So Nishchalatva and Nirmalatva are both required in order to capture a good image of anything. So that is it. So Shuddha Antahkaranaha. This Shuddha Antahkaranam itself takes a long process. Shuddha Antahkaranam is that practice of Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, etc. Shamadhi, Shatka, Sampatti. This is something which is very difficult to practice. Then Asamskrutatmanaha na vijaniyuhu. They will not know. Shrunvantah api bahavaha aneke they na vidyuhu. Na vidyuhu means they will not know. Then Kimcha asya vaktapi आश्चर्यः अद्भुतवदेव अनेकेषु कश्चिदेव भवति. So this teacher also is very rare. Anekeshu कश्चिदेव. Like this student also is anekeshu sahasreshu कश्चिदेव. Among thousands and thousands there is one student. So similarly among thousands and thousands there is one teacher. So that is the whole picture here. So in the whole of Andhra Pradesh, if you see, there will not be many people who will be at least reading some bhashyam. You may not find more than say a dozen people who will be at least reading some bhashyam, leave alone jnanis. So that is the tragedy. So of course it is more applicable now. I don't know why Shankaracharya wrote even in those days. Shankaracharya must have written about real jnanis. Now we should talk about at least the people who are interested in knowing about this book. So Kincha means moreover, asya vakta api ascharyaha. Asya vakta, the propounder of it, the expounder of it, he is also a wonder. Then adbhutavadeva, he is something like a wonder. Adbhutam is something which is awe-inspiring. That is a wonder. That is adbhutavadeva anekeshu kashideva bhavati. So one among so many. Then tatha Shrutvapi asya atmanah Kushalaha Nipunayeva Anekeshu Labdha Kaschideva Bhavati. So similarly, Tatha means similarly, Shrutvapi, even after hearing about this Atman, Kushalaha Nipunaha Ekayeva Bhavati. The person who is capable of receiving is very rare. Then Yasmat Ascharyo Jnata Kashideva Kushalanusishtaha Kushalena Nipunena Acharyena Anushishtas San. Anushishtas San. So Acharyena Anushishtaha. Anushishtaha is one who is taught. Anushasanam. Anushasanam is the word. Anushishta is the person who has been taught. So Ascharyaha Jnata. Jnata means one who is a knower of Brahman, is again a wonder. Kashideva Kushalanusishtaha. Unless he is taught by a very qualified, does not mean having a degree. A qualified means he himself is a disciplined man. He himself is a realized person. He has got over his raga, dvesha and all that. He has got over his kama, krodha, lobha, moha and all these things. And then he is not only practicing, this shama, dhamma, etc., they become his nature. So that is not merely practicing. Practicing means we are practicing, you and I. But then a jnani is one who is already there in that nishtha. All these things, they become his nature. So that man is a jnani. Such a man should be willing, should be kind enough. He should have that willingness to teach. And he should have that desire and then capability to teach. Some people, there may be great jnanis, but they may not be able to teach. So that is also there. So that is why you have to listen to different types of people. If, for example, a person may teach quite well, and then he may not be really practicing all those things. That is also possible. So in my view, though some people say that you have to only stick to one guru, in my view, Bahushruta, that is listening to many people, is better. In fact, I follow the same. I listen to Anubhavananda, I listen to Akhandananda, I listen to Paramarthananda, I listen to Tattvavidananda. So like that. Listen to so many people so that you will get some point of view, some a particular way of understanding, their way of understanding, and then, okay, then you have to contemplate, you have to internalize it, The basic point is not only listening but internalizing what they say. That is most important. Then next mantra, kasmat
तस्मात्
na narena varena prokta
न नरेणावरेण प्रोक्त
yesha
एष
suvigneyo bahudha chintyamanaha
सुविज्ञेयो बहुधा चिन्त्यमानः
ananya prokte
अनन्यप्रोक्ते
gatiratra nasti
गतिरत्र नास्ति
aniyan hyatarkamanu pramanat.
अनीयान् ह्यतर्क्यमनुप्रमाणात्.
Good. Aniyan yatarkyam anupramanat. So he says, again this shloka, this mantra again talks about the teacher. Mostly about the teacher, not much about the student. Na narena avarena proktaha yesha suvigneyaha bahudha chintyamanaha. It is also telling about the difficulty of the subject matter. The subject matter itself is so difficult, he says. Bahudha chintyamanaha. Yesha means this. What is this? This Atma. He is referring to the Atma here in the earlier mantra and also in this mantra, that Esha refers to this Atma. How is it? Na suvigneyaha. Then Bahudha Chintyamanaha. Bahudha means in different ways. Chintyamanaha. That is being speculated by so many schools of thought in so many different ways. Because regarding the supreme reality, there are so many schools of thought, starting from Charvakas who say there is nothing else. There is nothing beyond this world. This human body is something which is, say, a product of these four elements. They don't accept Akasha. They accept only four elements, that is Prithvi, Apas, Tejo, Vayu, not Akasha. So this human body is a combination of these four elements. And then for some accidental reason, for some unknown reason, this intelligence is born. And whatever intelligence is born, that is the only intelligence we have. And then yavat jivet, sukham jivet, ranam kritva ghratam pibet. So that is their philosophy. So you enjoy, live, drink, enjoy. There is no question of, there is no such thing as morality. So you do whatever you want. And then of course some of them, they also say, yes, for the sake of society, social order, there is a requirement for morality, and you have to surrender to some, this king, whoever is the king, he is the boss, and what he says is the king is he is the god. So that is what they say. So right from that level, there are people who they say they do some greater speculation. There are some Tarkikas, there are some say Sankhyas, there are some other Mimamsakas. There are so many other people who say. For example, Mimamsa, they hold a peculiar view. Purva Mimamsa, the hardcore Mimamsa, they say, if I do this karma which is explained in this, say for a Veda, that is good enough, and that will take you to heaven. I am not bothered about heaven. I am not bothered about the Supreme Brahma. I am not bothered about any other thing. So I do this yajna and then I go to heaven. So that's all. I am not bothered about God. I am not bothered about anything else. God has to jolly well give me moksha. Swarga. So that is the hardcore Mimamsaka view. So that is hardcore Karmata's view. So like that, there are so many people thinking about it in divergent ways, whether Atma exists at all or not. So this is the way. And then there is what is called creation. Is there a creator at all or not? So that also we are going to see in Shankara Bhashyam. Whether Atma, the supreme thing, is a karta or akarta. Whether it is a bhokta or abhokta. Is it shuddha or ashuddha. So all these speculations, there are so many divergent ways in which it has been done by so many schools of thought. So, na narena avarena proktaha yesha suvigneyaha. This yesha atma na suvigneyaha, when narena avarena proktaha, when it is told by somebody, an inferior teacher. Narena, nara means a man, a human being, let us say. Avaraha, what is avara? Something like Ava, Hindi Avara. Not exactly Avara. You know what is a Vara? Vara is something which is chosen. Something which is chosen, something which is, say, selected. Avara is something which is not selected, something which is not chosen. Avara. Something which is inferior. So, you know, Vara, Vadhu and Vara, Vara is somebody who has been chosen out of many. You, for your daughter, you see so many boys and then you reject so many people and then ultimately select one boy, isn't it? So that man is a Vara, he is the chosen man, all other people are rejected people. So like that. So Vara is a rejected, Vara is a chosen man, Avara is a rejected man. So Narena Avarena Proktaha. If some such inferior man tells you, Proktaha means that which is told. Told, pra plus ukta, prokta. Proktaha, yesha atma na suvigneyaha. Why? Bahudha chintyamanaha. Because it is thought of, it is such a complicated subject which has been dealt with by so many schools of thought in so many ways. Then, ananya prokte gatiratra nasti. For this word ananya prokte, Shankaracharya is giving 3 or 4 meanings, but we can start with one simple meaning. Ananya prokte, ananya. Ananya, what is the meaning of ananya? Na plus anya is ananya. Anya is other one. Na anya means not the other. Not the other. What is it? Na plus anya means something different. Na plus anya means not different. Ananya means, the meaning here is not different from Brahman. Not different from Brahman. A person who is in that stage, ananya, I am not different from Brahman. So a person who is in that stage. In fact, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, that line also I think I quoted earlier. One who looks at, say, the Brahman as something different from himself. Anyosa vanyohamasmiti na saveda yatha pasurevam sadevanam. It says. So when you are worshipping a deity, you have to worship it thinking that you are that deity, you are that God. So that is the type of form of worship which is advocated by the Upanishad. Not that you are going there as a seeker, as a beggar, and then he is giving something to you. So you have to worship God with all love and with a great sense of equality, with a degree of equality, where you say you are not different from that. You are trying to be that. You are trying to elevate yourself to that God level. So that is the way in which you are supposed to do worship. So anyosa vanyoham asmiti. One who thinks anyaha asau, anyaha aham asmiti. One who feels like that, na saveda, he does not know, he is a fool. Yatha pashuhu evam sadevanam. He will be something like a pashu for gods. So that is what Upanishad says. So when you are worshipping God, na rudraha rudra marchayet, you must have heard it. Whenever they start Rudradhyaya, they say na rudra marchayet. You have to be a Rudra in order to be to worship Rudra. So similarly, when you are worshipping a particular God form, you have to elevate yourself to that God form. So that is what our worship says. So here, avarena says suvignya, where are we? Ananya proktaha. Ananya prokta means na plus anya is ananya. So ananya means somebody who feels that he is something, he is not different from Brahman. So by that gentleman, ananya prokte sati. When this Atma is told by a person who is in that particular stage, then gatihi atra nasti. Gatihi means, gati for word, gati also he has given 3-4 meanings. Gati, simple meaning is a confusion. There is no cogitation. There is no, say confusion, cogitation is a better word, but it is a difficult word. Confusion is a simpler word. So when it is told by a guru who is in that Brahmanishta, who has realized that he is not different from Brahman, then there is no confusion. When the guru himself is a confusion, in a confused state, he cannot convey it to the student. So that is the meaning. Ananya prokte gatihi atra nasti. So one meaning is gati. One meaning of gati is confusion. Another meaning which Shankaracharya gives is there is nothing else to know. Gati, there is nothing else to know. Then another meaning which is given is some transmigration. Gati, once you know, if such a teacher teaches, and then that message is properly transmitted and understood by you, there is no transmigration, there is no samsara gati. That samsarana will not be there. So like that 3 or 4 meanings are given. We will come to that. So ananya prokte gatihi atra nasti. When it is taught by somebody who is in that Brahmanishta, there is no further gati, there is nothing else to know, there is no transmigration, there is no confusion. So you take any meaning. Then aniyan hyatarkam anupramanat. Aniyan hi atarkam atarkyam anupramanat. He means yasmat, because. Why? Because this is aniyan. What is aniyan? Atma. Atma is aniyan. Aniyan means It is something like an atom. Anu is atom. Anu is atom. We also have a system of philosophy called Vaisheshika system of philosophy. Vaisheshika system, that Kanada is one sage who propounded thing. Vaisheshika and Nyaya, they are two twin say schools of thought. That is what is said, because they fall, that is, both are called Nyaya Marga. Nyaya is Tarka. Then Vaisheshika, they say this universe is formed from atoms. Universe is formed of atoms only, and atoms is a single atom, two atoms, they come together, it becomes a Dvyanuka. Then two Dvyanukas come together and then it becomes a Trianuka, and like that the life has formed, and then from that Dvyanuka onwards things more Anus join, and then it becomes a small living being, and so that is how life comes. So that is what they say. So this is Anu Siddhanta. There is what is called an Anu. So Aniyan is something like an Anu. Aniyan, that is something like an Anu. It is so subtle. It is so Sukshma. Sukshma is so subtle. Aniyan, he, because this is all Aniyan. Atarkyam. Atarkyam. Tarkyam is something which can be established by Tarka. Atarkyam is something which cannot be established by Tarka. After all, this Tarka is also man-made. What is Tarka? Tarka means logic. 2 plus 2 is equal to 4 is, say, Tarka, or something like that. Not exactly Tarka, it is suppose a stat, that is the understanding. And Tarka is something which is a product of the mind. And mind itself is created by, say, this creator, and we do not know how it is created. So you are trying to know what has been created, you are trying to know who is your creator. So that is it, Atarkyam, it is beyond you. So that is it, Atarkya, it cannot be established by Tarka, because the human mind itself is so structured or so conditioned that 2 plus 2 makes only 4, it does not make 5 or 6. So the mind is structured like that, isn't it? So we do not know how exactly it is structured. So Atarkyam, something which cannot be established by Tarka, then Anupramanat, because it is so subtle. So that is the overall meaning. Now if the time is over, we will see the Bhashyam in the next class. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi.